guys, this is Dandelion Song here, and I probably won't keep this little speech here in the intro, but I just wanted to put this because it wouldn't let me put this into my comments, and I had to put it into my description. I know everybody doesn't read that, so I just want to talk about abusive tones in the comments. So in deciding who will be blocked and who will be given a chance, I am weighing the amount of abusive tone in the comments. Scripture shouters are probably not redeemable cognitively. People who with an abusive tone in their post are also probably not redeemable because they're not able to control their behavior and how they speak. I do not want them, they will only muddy the comment section for people who have valid and polite questions. My information is not for the heavily brainwashed. Those are people who are going to have violent negative reactions because that is a hypnotic layer that is implanted in them. So we can forgive them for that. They are hypnotized to behave that way. But these levies are not my mission. Someone else has better skills for dealing with them, someone who can probably dehypnotize them, and it isn't me. I will continue to try to find the fine line between people who are on the edge of prevailing cognition or consciousness, or who are capable of non-abusive debate, and those who are not within the scope of my teachings. If I miss any dear ones who are not ready for my teachings, please bring them to my attention. You can use my email or other methods. If you feel like someone is worth having a debate with, go ahead and try, but I do not want to stress out the people who are here to legitimately decipher codes and explore theories without being up to our ears in Vatican programmed Lovies. I do love them. I just know from experience that this forum is not what they need to deprogram. I have noticed that most people that I have taken the time to block have no subscribers or followers, or very few, like 3, or no actual profile, which means they could be a bot, a programmed online personality, or an agent who has hundreds of profiles and uses them to spout the Vatican programming. So if you're worried about their humanity, this worry is most likely misplaced because some of them do not appear to be real people. Some of them do have violent pictures on their profile, which means that they might be a real person, but they also do not belong on this channel. So I wish I could share the block button with some of you, but I think that you can report a user for abusive speech if you feel that is appropriate, and it may help keep our comment section clean, and I will try to keep trigger words out of the headlines like comments. So I just wanted to address that, and welcome everybody here who is new, who is capable of controlling their tone and their behavior, and they are able. Self-control is really one of the markers of being ready for more material that's outside of the hypnotism. And we do have to understand that these people are hypnotized to have a violent reaction to this kind of material. So we don't want to take it personally, and we don't want to be angry with them. They just need more time and a different kind of deprogramming than I'm offering. All right, well, on with the show. Guys, Dandelion here. I hope you're having a good day. I'm going to bring you back to the books from this book, Manly P. Hall. Now, he is for sure an insider. The Illuminatus Observer says that his books are like the encyclopedia of Illuminati concepts. Now, but we also, when we read this, we have to realize that I don't know the story of how these got published. I don't know if they were leaked later, or if they were meant for regular people to be able to order, or if they just maybe figured out or thought that commoners aren't going to be interested in studying these things, and so they didn't bother to hide it. So anyway, just to tell you that anyway, there's things in here that I didn't know, and maybe you would like to know. This chapter, this one, let's see, it's called The Origin of the Democratic Ideal. Talks about, here it says, from preserved symbols we can know that from the remote past, from the deep shadows of the medieval world, as well as the early struggles of more modern times, that the power of American democracy has come. Okay, well, he's just talking about the remote past. So here we have, I don't know, I wish he would say a reference of what that was. Okay, well, I started this because I wanted to read this part to you. Thousands of years ago in Egypt, the mystical, and so we're on page 20. Thousands of years ago in Egypt, these mystical orders were aware of the existence of the Western Hemisphere and the great continent, which we call America. The bold resolution was made that this Western continent should become the site of a philosophic empire. Just when this was done, it is impossible now to say, but certainly the decision was reached prior to the time of Plato. For a thinly veiled statement of this resolution of the substance of his treatise is in the substance of his treatise on the Atlantic Islands. You know, I notice it in the morning I have a harder time reading. Just doing the best I can here, you guys. All right. One of the most ancient of man's constructive ideals is the dream of a universal democracy and cooperation of all nations in a commonwealth of states. The mechanism for the accomplishment of this ideal was set in motion in the ancient temples of Greece, Egypt, and India. So brilliant was the plan, so well was it administered, that it survived to our time and will continue to function until the great work is accomplished. So this is the craft. This is the craft I think they're talking about. So, and this is what I mean by some Freemasons might be good, some Illuminati might be good, and some other ones might be bad. And if this was true, and if you consider this to be a good idea from the ancients, a human benevolent idea, then, sorry, I lost my train of thought, hold on. You would see America as the true battleground of dark and light. So that's where, that would really explain why America has been it's been basically conquered from within. It's been beset with problems from the beginning, the banking and everything else. Okay, so this is, okay, so I'll just read one more thing here, and then we'll go on to the next concept. Philosophy set up house in the world to free men by freeing them from their inordinate desires and ambitions. It saw selfishness as the greatest crime against the common good, for selfishness is natural to all who are untutored. It is recognized that the mind has to be trained into the laws of thinking before men can be capable of self-rulership. It knew that democratic commonwealth can be a reality only when our world is a world of self-ruling men. So if you think of this in the context of the Anunnaki, they set up their rulership, and that over time they tried to give men authority to rule themselves. And then periodically they would take away that authority. And when they gave men authority to rule themselves, they would hand over those rings that look like a circle with a line on them that you can see on Ishtar holding while she's standing on lions. So if you see that, what emerges for me to think about is that the Anunnaki came here, they got involved, which was probably against their own laws. And you could think of them as Pleiadian or not. Sometimes I think of them as Pleiadian. I'm not sure if that's right. We have to keep that. We can't cement these concepts down because we don't know for sure. Well, but what I want to say is that perhaps because of their meddling here, then what they needed to do was shepherd our civilization. Some of them had to stay behind, and also because there were dark entities now on the earth, they had to stay behind, and they had to fight the battle between good and evil as it rose in developing man. But they would have this would be the great craft, would be to eventually bring men to the point of self-rulership. And this would especially be a very interesting craft and experiment if you think of humans as being a library of DNA of many star nations, including warring star nations, Orion and the Pleiades, and basically all the trinity of suns. So I'm going to bring you some more in this book that I think is interesting. Oh, let's first look at Plato. So there's a 16 and a 12, which goes to a 28. The center would be a 1. So if you drew this with a capital A, it would have the all-seeing eye and the pyramid in the center. And then on this side would be the rotation of the outer field of the sun. And I learned somewhere, and I can't remember if I put it in the back to the books yet. I think it was in a Pi in the alphabet book, that the inner field of the core of the sun rotates at 33 days. So again, you have a verification of the core valence gematria idea of these words, but also that the core idea of the 33rd degree being the core of the sun, the hottest part, I guess, you know, if we understand the sun correctly. All right, over here, the T and the O equal a 35, and it's also our year that we're in right now. And I could see that they would see that this is a holy year because this number was meant to be holy originally. But you can also see this number as the I, EYE, equals 35. And I think that that is among all of our hidden codes. So it would say that Plato has eyes to see. That's what his name would say here. And then his outer valence field, lost the focus, come on. His outer valence field, let me focus this. Nice and in focus. Okay, his outer valence field rotates to 63, which is a 9, and is the opposite of 36. 36 is the seed of life type of idea in the trinity of sixes. So this is a left to right mirror of that. But we add that 1 back in, you have 64, which is 8 times 8, 8 squared. And that is his Christ number, and the double 8s. So I guess for him, having solar references in his name and the ability to see would tie into the Christ numbers that he has, the 8-8. Because those are originally Christ numbers before they were sullied and dirtied by the Nazis. All right. Talk to you soon.